Hello World Doll Day, friends. This is Michael Canadas with the Groovy Doll Museum and Carmel Doll Shop. I am extremely excited because Bradley has agreed to do a program on a subject matter that's near and dear to my heart. And the name of this program today is Groovy Baby. So this is a little stocking stuffer type of doll that's a big part of my life, and maybe some of you out there it will be too. So we're gonna let Bradley, I was there when these things were made, and I had these, but I'm no intellectual. I'm a collector just on the feeling, and I know what is right and what is wrong because, again, as I said, I was there.
You were there.
But you're the historian, so I want you to tell me all about it.
Well, I'll tell you everything that I know through my research. But I just want to start off, Michael, by saying when it came to looking at your Dawn collection, I found this book on your desk, and I think it speaks volumes of your Dawn collection because you have everything, and
I don't have everything. I need more.
Close to everything. So Dawn is a 6-inch fashion doll that started in 1969. It was made by a company called Topper Toys. Now Topper existed in an earlier incarnation called Deluxe Redding, and Deluxe Redding manufactured those dolls they sold in supermarkets, like the candy fashion with all the outfits. They kind of marketed and went into markets.
Small towns.
Small town markets. They were in grocery stores and drugstores. They went after developing a market where none really existed. So they were kind of brilliant that way. The company was started by a man named Henry Ornstein, who was he immigrated after World War II from Europe. He survived the Holocaust. He was sort of an amazing, brilliant man, and so he set up in New Jersey a factory creating all of these wonderful products. So fast forward to the 60s, he did Penny Bright, he did Susie Cute, and then in 1969 they rolled out with a 6-inch fashion doll called Dawn, and it kind of put the fashion doll world on its ear. Suddenly Mattel had some very, very stiff competition for Barbie. So stiff that they would even create their own product to compete with Dawn. So Dawn was the mod girl. She was hip, she was fashionable, and she was tiny. And even though she was tiny, there was no escaping that she was fashion forward, she was stylish. And the thing that I think was most appealing for little girls and for parents, she was affordable. Roughly the dolls were, under $2. The outfits...
Or sometimes less.
Yes, sometimes less. And the outfits could be, I noticed some price tags on some of yours that were like 49 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
You could take your pocket change and...
And I did.
and it looks like you still do. So it all started with this doll right here that's coming on around this little twirling table. This is the original Dawn.
And that's what I think of when I think of Dawn.
Yeah, that wonderful little mini dress with that pleated skirt and that blue top. The Peter Max sort of inspired graphics on the box. It was really amazing. They did so well that first year, they expanded their line.
Bradley, could you grab that so that we could show them without it spinning around?
Sure, we don't want to get everybody dizzy. So this is the first Dawn. She had bendable legs, a twist and turn waist. She came with a posing stand that kind of fit up in her feet. And she had rooted eyelashes. This teeny little doll had rooted eyelashes.
Now, her head's about the size of a 50-cent piece, wouldn't you say?
I would say kind of like the size of a grape. I mean,
yeah, that's a good analogy. Mm-hmm.
And they also kind of subscribed to sort of the Mattel sort of packaging, showing other products that were available. And then they came with a fashion booklet that showed all of the amazing outfits and her friends, because she started out with friends. Where Barbie started out as a solo act, the moment that Dawn came out, she had many different friends and fashions.
And so we're talking major product development.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and the sky was sort of the limit. They decided to create this world. Instantly, she had an African American friend with Dale, who had this wonderful little short afro and cute little mini dress. And they also did boyfriends for everybody. There was Van, which was Dale's boyfriend, and then I can't remember his name.
I'm older than you. I'm having a...
So Ron and Gary.
Ron and
I think
Gary.
This one's Gary.
Yes.
So,
But I don't like the name Gary, so I always change that. I didn't.
that's the confusion. But the outfits, this is first generation packaging with these outfits. I mean, it's just the packaging, you just wanted, they came with these wonderful little mannequins.
Well, and I've always loved mannequins since then.
Yeah, and the little teeny tiny purse.
And they're half mannequins,
Yes.
which if you think about it, it does make that easier to package.
Yes. They came with hanger and the shoes, which were special for Dawn because they worked with her little posing stand. And they had a name for each of the outfits. This is called Bouffant Bobble, and it came with the stole. And then on the back, once again, the
We're
cross
selling
marketing.
something.
We're selling the little purse, the music box posing stand, and her little telephone sofa, telephone set. So this is such a tiny scale. I mean, it's like dollhouse scale. And so
Practically, yeah.
the fact that
We would call it large dollhouse scale.
the fact that you have all of these little tiny details and accessories, it's
And
just
the
kind of
fabrics
incredible.
are really, they're really good. They're state-of-the-art fabrics
They
for
are.
the time.
They are very modern. And all in proportion. There was no using up some cheap fabric. It was all in proportion. Wonderful lurex and trim, and some of it's existing trim. And it was interesting how they used some of this stuff in ways that was so in scale and proportioned. So I'm gonna pull this one out, which I think is really great. You see the little tiny brush, comb, and mirror.
Little baby doll set.
This is so cute.
And so here we have a price point. We've got
It's $1.
120.
$129.
129, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a store called Corvettes. Now I will say I saw one. I'm gonna pick this up down here.
Now we're in the second set.
Yeah, so this is sort of like the second generation with that sort of Peter Max packaging. And this is sort of a long vinyl sort of coat. And this one's from a store called Bill's Dollar. And these outfits were 2 for $1. This is called Long and Leather.
I did like this packaging when it was new.
It was very of the moment.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
And then all the ways that you can display your Dawn in your bedroom.
One of I hate the word iconic, but when it comes to Dawn, one of the costumes that I think is very iconic is Silver A-Go-Go.
It's so amazing. It was this lame mini dress with thigh-high boots.
This is not Silver A-Go-Go,
No,
but it's similar.
Well, it is Silver A-Go-Go, but it's got the cape underneath it. So it has this, silver lame sort of mini dress with purse and thigh-high boots. And didn't it Silver A-Go-Go come with a poodle as well? Dawn,
I think everything.
it seems like
the big sets. Most all of them came.
and they all came with these wonderful. They're that poodle cracks me up.
Well, but that's a normal colored poodle. Then there's the pink poodles.
That came with an outfit called Strawberry Sundae, which was a pink
Yes.
outfit. So you gotta
And
love
I'm
it.
sure we have that somewhere here.
So you've got everything, in my opinion. So along with this came innovation. So and then branding and licensing. So soon Dawn and her friends were dancing, and when you moved one arm, her waist twisted, her head turned, and these were designed to go with Dawn's disco. So Dawn had a disco party.
Which was, I don't have that because that's a really large item.
Maybe you can put that on your letter to
Well,
Santa.
I could, but Santa might say, "Oh,
Michael really doesn't need that. But it was very modern and very hip, going to the disco. It was, music. This was a time of like sort of crazy music and just a whole new sort of coming of age generation. It was just very, very, it was, the women's movement. It was just sort of a great time. The mini skirts, it was...
Flower power.
Yes, absolutely.
But then there was still elegance, because this was one of my favorite pieces of the time, which was Dawn's dress shop. And
so amazing.
This is not my original, but I did have this. And it's still one of my favorites. I mean, look at the triple mirror, and you put her in her little stand and she turns. She may not be turning because she's got her, but there's a little, there, yeah, she did a little fast, quick change, but she's got that little protector on it, but I love that.
And the
piece.
graphics and the illustration, it's so of the moment. It's just...
And this is just the box.
The box is incredible.
It's not the thing, it's just the box.
But they did a lot of hair play. This is head to toe Dawn. And it was a Dawn with a short sort of bubble cut hairstyle. But it came with these hair pieces in this long fall, so you could change your hair all around. And it's
And I think I have one right here that's got, where is she? Oh, there. There, she's got one of her hair pieces. That's one. I'm sure that is.
And she's got her hair all duded
Wiglets,
up. Her little
you know,
wiglet. Oh, yeah.
cascades.
That was just so of the moment. Everybody had a
was.
fall or a...
Yeah.
So, and so then they got a little more innovative and they did the majorette Dawns. So, what little girl didn't want to be a baton twirling majorette? And so this is majorette Kip. And they had a special hand molding to allow her to hold this baton, and you moved the other hand and she'd twirl her baton.
I know that this is desirable and people want it, but for me, I want them to be high fashion. And this is just a little too cutesy.
Well, and it's also kind of gimmicky to me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm the same way. I kind of like the doll in the wardrobe.
I do.
The gimmick kind of gets in the way.
Although when you talk about gimmicks, one of my most favorite things of all time with Dawn that I just love still today, and I loved them then, were these little goodies.
Those are so rare and so amazing. The flower fantasy, they came in a special posing stand that was like a flower pot, and all of these like plastic flowers.
I just thought they were so beautiful.
Amazing at the time.
Oh, I did. I thought they were great.
This of all the Dawns, I think these are some of the rarest to find.
Well, whenever we're at shows and David sees one of these, he'll tell the dealer, please don't show Michael that. And they march it over.
And right then, they're on their way to see you. So, and then they created even more friends and characters. They did the modeling agency dolls. So this is Maureen.
And they have beautiful clothes.
The fabrics and the styling is so cute. And they have jewelry, which you had pulled out one of the little necklaces, but the jewelry is just
it's tiny.
Tiny.
It's tiny. It's the size of a ring.
Yes.
A child's ring.
A teeny tiny little ring. And the little purses that actually worked. But they created a whole world for Dawn. We've got the Dawn Beauty Pageant. And Michael, I'm sure you know this, but you can go on YouTube and watch the old commercials for these, and it's just very nostalgic. It takes me straight back. And then this is Dawn's first car, Long Locks, her friend that has sort of like Crystal Gale hair.
Oh yes,
is driving her blue car, and then they came out with this fabulous pink one with Flower Power logos and her name inscribed on it, which is kind of fabulous.
I love the graphics and the art of just about any doll, but I also like to play with them. So, if I can afford to do it, I like to have one that's in, with advertisement, and one that I can play with.
Yeah, I like to handle them and touch them.
I like to play with it.
Yeah. And so they did a beauty parlor, which, what I will tell you is the beauty parlor is Dawn's, but it only became Dawn's when Penny Bright
got
tired of it. And they just made it in brighter colored plastic, but it's just, they just reused the existing Penny Bright beauty parlor and
it works
slapped
perfect.
Dawn's name on it. It's perfect size. And they did an apartment, and they did a fashion show, and the vinyl carrying cases, which
I loved. I had those.
Yeah, this art is just. And you know, as a kid, we actually had this one when I was little, and I mean, you could kind of turn this into like a little
I made
house
it into
or
a room.
Yeah, because this is just so
Sure. I put the bed
fabulous.
in where the dolls are, and I got a lot of play out of that.
But you know, they licensed and they worked with, you know, who doesn't just absolutely need a Dawn hand mirror? Will one of these pull out?
Oh, sure. Aren't those fabulous?
They're just amazing.
I felt that was a real victory to find all that still in
the original
going
store
to the
display.
store display. Yeah,
These are just sort of amazing.
I think I'm missing one or two,
Well,
but I could find those if I wanted to go that far to replace it.
but Dawn is just of the moment. It was popular. It was so amazing, and you can just sort of feel the music and the mood of that moment just by looking at it. It's just
Well, for those of our friends in World Doll Day that are not familiar with this, could you give them a little fashion show of these fashions that are right here?
absolutely.
Isn't that Peachy Keen?
This is Peachy Keen,
And it's very peach. I may not be photographing peach.
and then this is Wrap in the Night. The names of these are so clever. And this is called Blue Poof, and I love this little tiny, like, old-fashioned telephone.
Oh, and that telephone is just to die. Isn't that great?
Love the color.
And the handbag.
And it's interesting, too, to
Clutch.
kind of see...
And so we've got $279. So this was more expensive.
More expensive. That was probably like an original
This
retail.
would take me a week to get enough money to do that. And this is one of my favorites.
All that glitters.
Super.
Now, this is one of my favorites because we said earlier, I love tailored. So this is called Town and Tailored, and orange is one of my favorite colors. So this is just sort of like...
And Dawn can pull off orange.
Yes.
You know, orange is not a color for everybody.
It's not a color for me because I look like the great pumpkin Charlie Brown. But on Dawn, I think this is a winner.
And the thing is, I think it goes with the whole family. Mm-hmm. You know, the whole family of dolls. Anyone can look good in it. Anyone in the family can look good in this.
She had a lot of different nightgowns and peignoirs, and so this is called
This is
Dream Sweet Princess.
Yes, and I think this was a little more. I feel that this is a little more harder to get than a lot of them.
You don't see this one in this variation very often.
And $1.49.
Now this is the one that we love. This is Silver
iconic.
Cocoa. Yes.
This is silver.
This is so Andy Warhol, Edie Sedgwick on the Way to the Factory.
Yes. Oh, and I see why I put together when I was playing the hood, because this didn't come with the hood.
Right.
Yes, I love this.
And you're like me, you think it should have.
It should have, but sorry, didn't hurt it. And this is one of them. Wonderful.
Yeah, another
I mean,
one.
isn't that just a fabulous maxi dress?
Yeah, the stripes and that coat is just so amazing. And to be that scale and to be lined, how amazing is that?
And they're very durable. I mean, they're you know, we don't really have any that are falling apart. And the ones that are loose
So, and then every doll
had to have a
had
wedding.
to have a wedding gown.
I don't feel that these are that exciting, but you know, it does the job.
Yeah.
That's why we have them.
So, and once again, you know, clever name, Wedding Bells Dreams.
And of course with the sales pitch.
Mm-hmm. And then this is a variation
Again,
again,
this is a pink wedding dress.
called Down the Aisle. How clever was that and fashion forward for the time?
Well, and they probably had some pink fabric that
They just
needed
had to use it.
it up.
Now we started off talking about nothing succeeds like excess. So here's another silver go-go.
Well, Samantha, who usually does the filming, and she'll photograph these things, and then she'll yell across the room, "You have 3 silver a-go-go's," and then David hears it and it's like, well.
So what is it I say? 1 is good, but 20 is plenty.
Well, but one might have a better costume and one has
Right.
a better,
and there's
better
packaging
images.
variations.
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
why.
that sort of thing. So, but Dawn is, even though there are things that are rare, she's still an affordable sort of situation today to collect. You can still
You can find them. I think that
they do turn up, and they're relatively have withstood the test of time. We were discussing earlier that a lot of the dolls have blue knees, and I
oh yes, tell them about that.
well, the blue knees, they turn blue because there is a brass metal filament in the leg for the posing mechanism. It has bendable legs like Barbie. Originally, I had met a lady whose husband had worked for Topper, and he had told them that that wiring needed to be plastic coated, and the first generation of dolls were. The later ones were not, and the ones that were later turned blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the moisture hits that and it oxidizes, and it causes it to, just like the green ears on Barbie. But
it's not. I found that it's not all of them.
it's not all of them, and I'll tell you one of the things, and the blue knees actually happened back then.
Oh,
And
I don't know if I'm sure you've looked at that commercial on YouTube where there's a father and a child dancing,
Mm-hmm.
and the doll, brand new, has blue knees.
Well, what is also interesting, if you pay attention to some of your dolls and you look, you can sometimes see where it looks like paint is rubbing off. It was, they were trying to get them out the door and on the market and sold before the knees turned blue. They actually painted some of them to disguise that. So there are some that do have legs that are painted.
I think you told me earlier that there was a cost associated with
To use like the plastic coated wiring or something probably would have been half a penny more. So, I mean, it was just a cost saving factor. And you don't really think about, that, but, a penny on a million things sold is $10,000. I mean, that's...
Yes, that's all. That does change it.
Yes.
So, okay, so Dawn, I outgrew this Dawn, and then she disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And like most of Barbie's competitors, they fall to the wayside. What was the downfall of Dawn?
Well, I don't think it was that they weren't really selling. During that time, there was sort of a situation where they kind of cooked the books, and there was some, falsifying of stuff, and I think some people got in trouble for that, and so the company was dissolved, and they sold off all of the remaining inventory. And if you look around, you'll find some of the clone Dawn dolls called Diana that are actually packaged, and they're wearing actual Dawn outfits. They just wholesaled it all out, and at an auction, and people created
Product
out of it. So I mean, it continued to exist for probably 3 or 4 years after the demise of the Topper company. But it was unfortunate because I really think it was a great product.
I think
and
it
was amazing.
could have really kept on going.
I do too. I think it could have had a longevity. It was a very of the moment doll, but it led to evolution, and I think it could have been a lot of fun if it had kept going.
Well, and one thing I do think about now is that we live in a very litigious society, and there are a lot of these little tiny things that really a child could put in their ear or swallow, or
Yes.
that might be a problem
That
today.
could be a problem, but there's so many tiny things to do, and I think that they put their pack for children over the age of 4.
Yeah.
So maybe that would work, but still some child or adult is going to swallow a Dawn shoe at some point.
So Bradley, I've never asked you this. Do you have a collection of Dawn?
I do. And I always tell this story. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and my mom had taken me to a doctor's appointment. And on our way home, we stopped at a store called Mann's, and it was sort of like a discount department store kind of thing. And I remember shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves of Dawn. So this would have been like 1974, 75. So they were like on clearance, and they were probably 49¢. And that was my treat for going to the doctor and not.
Did you just get one?
I got one Dawn, and so I accumulated. I pulled this one outfit out to kind of show. This is one of the outfits that
yes.
I added, and it's called Sheer Delight, I think. And I've always loved that one. So I didn't have many, but
I've loved this packaging.
Yes, this is
yeah,
so fabulous. To me, it looks like she's like at a little Paris cafe by the sun or something.
So let's show them the back. See what we've. Well, okay, this is again how to decorate your bedroom. Isn't that smart?
And don't you just love this like furniture and coloring and stuff? So I mean, you can look at this. It's so Brady Bunch. It's so Mary Tyler Moore. It's just so amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I personally love this whole series of.
And these are just
of course,
great.
but I love all of them.
How can you not? How can you not? So you just have to have them all.
And I think that in conclusion, what is interesting is they really kind of saw that there was a whole marketplace besides little white girls.
Oh, absolutely. And from the very get-go, there wasn't a moment where there wasn't an African-American friend for Dawn. And to me, she was, I always think of Black women at the time having the fabulous afro that was so of the moment, and I just think she is just so.
And of course, she can wear all the clothes that the rest of them.
Exactly.
Well, Bradley, thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your Dawn collection with me. I'm going to put some in a little shopping bag.
Well,
maybe.
you have a key to the place. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, World Doll Celebration people. Thanks for tuning in.